New footage has shown dozens of Syrian children and teenagers being recruited by insurgents. U.S.-backed insurgents in different parts of war-torn Syria are training children and teenagers in their local bases. A commander in northern Aleppo province has said when the children arrive, they are children, but when they leave, they are killing machines. Teenagers are taught how to handle assault rifles and weapons against President Bashar al-Assad's forces. They are also taught how to disarm enemies by stabbing them or killing them with their bare hands. Support for combatants constitutes a grave violation of children's rights. International law prohibits the use of children under the age of 15 in combat and military support operations. Several amateurs demonstrated the extent of the crisis over children's rights, child soldiers, and used them against the government.
Once they've learned to kill and have acquired these lethal skills, how will they be reintegrated into a post-conflict society if that can be done? They become organized, well-trained, lethal criminals. So it's going to be a problem in post-conflict Syria, and it shows the cynicalness of the Syrian opposition.
Human Rights Watch has called on nations funding the opposition groups and providing them with weapons to urge the so-called Free Syrian Army to stop recruiting children under 18 for combat on the battlefield, for supporting roles, or for any other military purpose.
Report once again reaffirms the claim and the complaints of Afghan people that they say that during the 11 year of war on terror in Afghanistan, this war claimed and gave them many lives of Afghan people, that according to the new report of United Nations, that nobody can reject that the most victim of the war on terror was Afghan children, Afghan innocent people, that it caused that the NATO forces and the international coalition forces bombarded their houses, their village, even their schools during the war on terror. So actually this report covers the 4 years of war on terror. I believe that during the 11 year there was lots of victims on civilian casualties, and this war caused the life of many Afghans. We see that they blended aerial bombing, they blended by the drones on Afghan village, gave the life of lots of Afghan people. That I believe that Afghan government during this 11 years for many times say that the war on terror is not at the village of Afghanistan. Of course, I believe that not only the United Nations, but the Security Council should put pressure on the United States, on the NATO forces, to immediately stop the operation on the village of Afghanistan.
And do you think that they will? And do you think that they will, Mr. Nourzad?
I believe that they won't, because it's not for the first time. I say that during the 11th war on terror, for many times the international forces committed these kind of crimes for many times. The only thing that they did, it was apologize from Afghan people. That these kind of apologize, I believe that never compensate the life of Afghan people.
A girl in grade 2 writes, I didn't pay attention to the rivers when I go to school. I will try harder to wash my hands from today. A boy in grade 4 writes, I want to play outside without being worried about radiation. A girl in grade 5 writes, I'm grateful to the people who transport fish and food from the southern hemisphere where the radioactivity is low. I'd like to appreciate more when I eat food why many people are so concerned about the radioactivity in the food I eat. A girl in grade 5 writes, I learned that there are more than 221 radionuclides in the world, and there are fungi and rust growing in the nuclear reactors. While our government does not help us, I appreciate that there are so many people who are willing to support us. A girl in grade 6 writes, radiation will cause illness after 10 years. I will pay more attention and tell my friends to do the same. Now, I hope that you have some ideas about what the Fukushima children are thinking about. I'm also quite impressed and moved to learn that they still very much appreciate life despite the very difficult situation which they have to live through. Finally, I'll leave you with this message. This is a little bit long one, but please listen to this. It's written by a girl in grade 7. After the accident at the nuclear power plants, as I watched TV and heard someone talking about it, I became a little bit worried that I might become ill in 10 years or so, but wasn't very cautious. But now, I've learned that I have 3 things I'm worried about. Number 1, I'm worried if I can have a healthy baby like a normal woman when I grow up and get married. My mom looks after me very well. She asks my school to keep me indoors during the PE lessons as much as she can. She buys food from faraway locations in Japan and abroad. She's so thoughtful. But I think I already have a bit of radiation inside my body. So maybe my body is more polluted than a normal person's. I think of the possibility of my baby to be born with some defects. If I'm not lucky enough, maybe my womb is damaged and I might not be able to have a baby at all. So I'm ready for giving up having a baby when I get old. Number 2, I'm worried about what will happen to Fukushima in the future. I love my mom and dad very much. They live in Fukushima. My friends, grandma and grandpa live in Fukushima too. I really want all of us to move to somewhere else, far away from here, but we can't. My mom is so kind. She sends me to the rest and recreation programs. Many of my friends don't go because their moms don't allow them. I'm worried about my health. I'm worried even more about the health of my friends and that of the people who are important to me. I'm worried the most about my mom. She's been trying very hard to keep me safe. And recently, I had a dream where people in Fukushima die in a few years because of radiation. It scares me a lot. These scary thoughts keep me awake at night. I hope this dream won't come true. Number 3, although the people in the government know we are suffering, but they don't do anything. I'm past feeling sad and now feel very angry about them. They don't protect their lives. People in Fukushima are suffering because of the nuclear power plants making lectures before the people in Tokyo. And I think it's wrong that the government doesn't do anything to help us and pretend that they don't know anything about it. Not only the government, but the Fukushima local government also doesn't do anything. Or I want to tell them that you pretend you're a victim, but actually you're guilty too. Lastly, people from all over the world are thinking of us. What I said, they don't know much about the danger of having nuclear power. I want to tell them about the danger of radiation and ask them never to repeat the same mistake. I am grateful to the things I learned that helped me think through these things. As you heard, the children of Fukushima are still trying so hard to live a normal life. Can you help them?